What's up, Broncos Country? You're not going to believe what Sean Payton just revealed about cutting Audric Estimé from the Broncos. What he said is going to shock a lot of people who still had hope in the kid. Stay until the end, because this coach's statement will completely change your perspective on Denver's decisions. Broncos Country, prepare your hearts, because today we're going to break down every word that came out of Sean Payton's mouth about one of the most controversial cuts of the season. And look, family, when you hear the real reasons, you'll understand why this decision was inevitable. Sean Payton didn't mince words when explaining why Audric Estimé couldn't secure a spot on the Broncos' final roster, and the reality is much harsher than many of you imagined, folks. The coach was straight to the point when questioned about this decision that affected many people in our Denver Broncos family. First, he made it clear that it's nothing unusual for a fifth-round pick to be cut in their second year. That's the raw reality of the NFL, people. It doesn't matter how much hope you place in an athlete. If he doesn't deliver what the franchise needs, there's no discussion. But here comes the blow. The Broncos Country. Payton revealed that Estimé simply lost the internal competition to Tyler Beatty. And it wasn't close either, family. The coach specifically highlighted Beatty's experience and versatility as decisive factors. While Estimé was struggling, Beatty showed in the preseason that he can do everything: carries, receptions, returns, and still protects the quarterback well. That's what separates who stays from who goes in this league. Do you remember the fumble problems Estimé had last year? Well, that was very costly. When you're an NFL running back and can't hold on to the ball, you automatically lose the coaching staff's confidence. And once you lose that confidence, family, it's very difficult to win it back. Payton also mentioned another factor that weighed in the balance. The arrivals of J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey completely changed the Broncos' backfield dynamics. Suddenly, the competition became much more intense. Dobbins arrived as an experienced veteran with potential to be the absolute starter, while Harvey entered as a draft prospect who showed interesting flashes. The math became too simple, folks. With Dobbins taking the starter position, Beatty securing the total versatility role, and Harvey as the young vet with upside, where was there room for Estimé? Nowhere. And look how interesting this is, family. Sean Payton had previously said, the organization viewed Estimé with third-round grade. That fed a lot of expectations among us Denver fans. Imagine the frustration of seeing a player with that kind of internal evaluation not even being able to secure a spot on the active roster. The naked truth is that Estimé couldn't evolve at the pace the franchise expected. At 21 years old, he still had a lot of potential ahead, but timing wasn't in his favor. The Broncos are in full competition mode, seeking playoffs, and can't afford the luxury of waiting for a player to mature. Let's be honest here. Broncos Country. When Estimé was cut in favor of Tyler Beatty in that playoff game against the Bills last year, that should have served as a warning sign. If in an elimination situation the coach preferred to play a guy who spent the entire season recovering from injury, imagine what that said about the confidence placed in the kid. If you're true Broncos Country, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our complete season coverage. Hit that notification bell, because every week we have hot analysis coming out. But continuing our conversation, family, there's another aspect that needs to be discussed here. The pressure for immediate results with the Broncos is enormous. With Bo Nix as rookie quarterback and expectations to compete for playoffs, every roster position needs to contribute from the first snap. There's no time for development projects. Dobbins arrived precisely to bring that stability and experience that was missing in the backfield. The guy already proved in Baltimore that he knows how to produce when healthy. Harvey, despite being a rookie, showed in college and preseason that he has natural instinct for the position. Beatty became the Swiss Army knife of the group, able to play multiple functions. Estimé, unfortunately, remained as the guy who promised a lot but delivered little. And in a league where margins of error are minimal, that's a death sentence. Payton made it very clear that the kid's career isn't over, but he was also transparent in admitting that he simply didn't meet Denver's specific needs anymore. The reality is that the Broncos did a general cleanup of the roster aiming for maximum competitiveness. It didn't matter if you were a recent draft pick or established veteran. If you didn't add immediate value, you were cut without mercy. Estimé became just another casualty of this overhaul, and you know what impresses me most about this whole situation? Sean Payton's calculated coldness. The guy didn't let sentimentalism interfere with a business decision. Estimé might have been a bet from the previous administration, but Payton coldly evaluated the present and made the decision he considered best for the team. This shows the winning mentality the coach brought to Denver. There's no room for complacency or excessive patience. Either you produce or you leave. That's how elite teams operate. Family. Another point that caught attention in Payton's statement was him mentioning he had a long conversation with Estimé before the cut. This demonstrates respect for the athlete as a person, even while making a difficult professional decision. The coach explained the reasons, was transparent about the rationale, and wished success in continuing his career. Now, tell me something. Broncos Country, do you think it was the right decision? Should we have given Estimé another chance to develop? Or did Payton make the right call, prioritizing players more ready to contribute immediately? The expectation is that Dobbins will assume absolute starting duties in carries, with Beatty functioning as the perfect complement in specific situations. Harvey should start as the third option, but with potential to grow throughout the season if he shows evolution. This configuration leaves the Broncos' backfield much more balanced than last year. It has the reliable veteran, the versatile one, who solves problems, and the young guy with upside. Estimé, however talented he was, simply didn't fit into this puzzle. And let's agree on one thing. The fumbles cost him dearly in terms of confidence within the organization. A running back who doesn't hold onto the ball becomes a nightmare for any offensive coordinator. You can't call aggressive plays knowing there's high risk of silly turnovers. Beatty, on the other hand, proved extremely reliable, taking care of ball possession. Additionally, his ability to play special teams adds extra value to the roster. On NFL teams, where every spot is precious, versatility is worth gold. Dobbins' arrival also completely changed the position's ceiling. The guy has a resume of over 1,000 yards per season when healthy. That's established RB1 production, something Estimé was still far from guaranteeing. Harvey represents the bet on the future without sacrificing the present. A rookie who already showed interesting flashes and has room for growth, but without the pressure of having to produce immediately. Estimé was in an uncomfortable intermediate situation. He wasn't the promising future nor the reliable present. Tell me, Denver Broncos family, honestly, after hearing all these arguments from Payton, do you still think the cut was unfair? Or are you starting to see the logic behind this seemingly drastic decision? The truth is that professional football is a cruel business. It doesn't matter how much potential you have or how many expectations were placed on you. If you can't translate that onto the field when opportunities arise, you'll inevitably be replaced by someone who can. Payton built his reputation precisely by making difficult decisions, thinking about the collective good. He won't sacrifice the entire team's chances of success because of one individual player, however promising he may be. And look how interesting this is, this transparent posture from the coach in publicly explaining the reasons for the cut. He could have given an evasive or generic answer, but preferred to be direct about the factors that weighed in the decision. This demonstrates confidence in the choices made. Now we root for Payton's bets to pay off on the field. Broncos Country. Dobbins needs to stay healthy and produce his RB1. Beatty should continue being this versatile wild card. And Harvey has to show gradual evolution to justify his roster spot. If this combination works, nobody will miss Estimé. But if some of these guys disappoint, then the criticism will start about having released a young talent with potential for Now, family, the organization demonstrates total confidence in the choices made. Sean Payton placed his bets on this backfield configuration and now needs to prove he was right. All the pressure is on his shoulders. So, Broncos Country, what would you do if you were Sean Payton in this situation? Would you maintain the bet on Estimé's potential, or prioritize players more ready to contribute immediately? Comment below with your honest opinion. Hit the like. If you agree that transparency is fundamental in franchise decisions, share with those friends who are still in doubt about this controversial cut, and stay tuned because next week we have more hot analysis about our Denver Broncos. Until then, family,